Barron Trump, the youngest president. The unexpected candidate. In the year 2050, the United States was a nation transformed. The political landscape had shifted dramatically, shaped by decades of technological advancements, climate challenges, and a restless populace yearning for something new. Amid this backdrop, Barron William Trump, the youngest son of the 45th and 47th President Donald J. Trump, emerged as an unlikely candidate for the presidency. At just 44 years old, Barron would become the youngest president in American history, shattering records and defying expectations. Barron was born on March 20, 2006, in New York City, a child of privilege raised in the opulent shadow of Trump Tower. His early years were marked by a quiet demeanor, a stark contrast to his father's bombastic persona. While his siblings, Donald Jr., Ivanka, Eric, and Tiffany, embraced the public eye, Barron preferred the sidelines, often seen courtside at Knicks games or tinkering with computers in his private suite. His mother, Melania, shielded him from the media frenzy, fostering a reserved, introspective nature that would define his path. By his 20s, Barron had carved out a niche as a tech savant. He graduated from Wharton, like his father, but his passion lay in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. He founded Trump Tech, a company specializing in secure communication platforms, which gained traction among corporations wary of data breaches in an increasingly digital world. His success was quiet but undeniable, earning him respect in Silicon Valley and beyond. Yet, politics seemed far from his mind, until the 2040s. The 2048 election cycle was chaotic. The major parties were fractured, with traditional Republicans and Democrats losing ground to populist and technocratic movements. The nation grappled with automation-induced unemployment, climate migration, and debates over AI governance. Barron, now a respected figure in tech, was approached by a coalition of independents and moderates who saw in him a fresh face, someone untainted by the political establishment yet carrying the Trump name's enduring charisma. Initially, Barron resisted. "I'm not my father," he told advisors in a private meeting at Mar-a-Lago, now a historic site turned family retreat. "I don't crave the spotlight." But the coalition persisted, pointing to his unique blend of business acumen, technological expertise, and a name that still commanded loyalty among millions. Melania, ever his confidant, urged him to consider the opportunity, whispering, "You can do this your way, Barron." Not his way. Reluctantly, Barron agreed to run as an independent, launching the Future First campaign. His platform was bold yet pragmatic. Harnessing AI to streamline government, investing in sustainable infrastructure, and promoting education to prepare Americans for a tech-driven economy. His youth and lack of political experience were both criticized and celebrated. To some, he was a blank slate. To others, a beacon of hope in a stale system. The campaign trail was a whirlwind. Barron, with his tall frame, sharp features, and measured speech, captivated audiences. Unlike his father's fiery rallies, Barron's events were sleek, tech-driven affairs, with holographic displays and real-time data visualizations illustrating his policies. He spoke of unity, not division, and his slogan, "Build Tomorrow, Together," resonated with a generation tired of partisan gridlock. On November 8, 2050, Barron Trump won the presidency in a historic upset, securing 52% of the popular vote in a four-way race. At 44, he was sworn in on January 20, 2051, as the 50th President of the United States, breaking Theodore Roosevelt's record as the youngest president, who was 46 at his inauguration. Chapter 2, The Young President. The White House, now equipped with advanced smart systems and eco-friendly retrofits, felt both familiar and alien to Barron. He moved into the executive residence with his wife, Sophia, a neuroscientist he'd met at a tech conference in 2035, and their two young children, Melania Rose and Donald Alexander. The first family was a modern one, reflecting the diversity and dynamism of 2050s America. Sophia, a first-generation American of Korean descent, brought a quiet strength to the role of First Lady, focusing on mental health and education initiatives. Barron's presidency began with a flurry of activity. His first act was to establish the National Innovation Council, a bipartisan group of scientists, entrepreneurs, and policymakers tasked with addressing automation's impact on jobs. He pushed for the Universal Skill Act, a program offering free retraining in AI, robotics, and green energy to displaced workers. Critics called it ambitious, supporters called it visionary. His youth shaped his leadership style. Barron was hands-on, often seen in the Situation Room, laptop open, coding alongside advisors to troubleshoot policy simulations. He preferred virtual briefings, leveraging augmented reality to consult with global leaders in real time. His administration was the first to fully integrate AI assistance into daily operations, with a custom-built system named Patriot, handling data analysis and security protocols. Yet, the Trump name carried baggage. Protesters gathered outside the White House, chanting about dynasty politics and his father's controversial legacy. Barron addressed the criticism head-on in his first State of the Union address. "I am not here to relive the past," he declared, his voice steady. "I am here to forge a future where every American has a chance to thrive." The speech, broadcast in 8K resolution and translated into 50 languages by AI, earned him a standing ovation from Congress and a bump in approval ratings. Challenges and triumphs. The first year was a trial by fire. A massive cyber attack, traced to a rogue AI network in Eastern Europe, crippled the U.S. power grid in March 2051. Barron's tech expertise proved invaluable. He worked around the clock with his team, deploying Trump Tech's proprietary encryption to restore systems within 72 hours, a feat that earned him bipartisan praise. The crisis also spurred his push for the Cybersecurity Act of 2051, which mandated quantum-resistant encryption for all federal infrastructure. Climate change posed another challenge. Rising sea levels threatened coastal cities, and Barron faced pressure to balance economic growth with environmental protection. He championed the Coastal Resilience Initiative, a $500 billion plan to build adaptive infrastructure and relocate vulnerable communities. Critics argued it was too costly, but Barron's data-driven presentations, complete with predictive models showing future flooding, won over skeptics. Internationally, Barron navigated a complex world. China's dominance in AI and renewable energy challenged U.S. supremacy, while tensions in the Middle East flared over water rights. Barron's diplomatic approach was unconventional. He hosted virtual summits, using AI to mediate discussions and find common ground. His youth and tech-savvy demeanor disarmed foreign leaders, who found him refreshingly direct. At a G20 summit in Seoul, he brokered a landmark agreement on AI ethics, earning accolades from global media. Yet, not all was smooth. Barron's push for Universal Basic Income, UBI, to counter automation's impact sparked fierce debate. Conservatives called it socialism, progressives argued it didn't go far enough. Barron, ever the pragmatist, piloted a limited UBI program in 5 states, using real-time data to tweak the model. The results were promising. Poverty rates dropped 15% in pilot areas, but the fight for nationwide adoption dragged into his second year. The personal toll. Presidency aged Barron, though he was still younger than most of his predecessors. The constant scrutiny, amplified by social media platforms now integrated with neural interfaces, weighed heavily. He maintained a private life, shielding his children from the spotlight as his mother had done for him. Sophia became his anchor, hosting family dinners in the White House to preserve normalcy. Barron's relationship with his father was complex. Donald Trump, now in his late 90s, remained a vocal presence, offering advice, often unsolicited, via holographic calls. Barron respected his father's legacy but was determined to carve his own path. "Dad, this isn't 2016, he'd say gently, redirecting conversations to policy. Melania, now a revered figure in her own right, mediated their dynamic, reminding Barron to honor his roots while forging ahead. The pressure took a toll. In 2052, Barron faced a health scare, a stress-induced heart arrhythmia that forced him to slow down. Sophia insisted on daily meditation, and Barron, ever the tech enthusiast, used a neural feedback device to monitor his stress levels. The incident humanized him, with Americans rallying around their young leader. #GetWellBarron trended for weeks, a rare moment of unity in a polarized nation. The legacy. By 2054, Barron's presidency had reshaped America. The economy, bolstered by green tech and AI innovation, was thriving. Unemployment hit historic lows, thanks to retraining programs and public-private partnerships. The Coastal Resilience Initiative saved millions from displacement, and the AI Ethics Accord became a global standard. Barron's approval rating hovered at 65%, a testament to his ability to bridge divides. His youth remained a talking point. At state dinners, foreign dignitaries marveled at his energy, while domestic critics questioned his experience. Barron leaned into his age, joking in speeches, "I may be young, but my AI advisors never sleep." His humor, paired with his competence, endeared him to a generation raised on digital connectivity. As his first term neared its end, speculation about re-election swirled. Barron remained coy, focusing on his agenda. He launched the Next Gen Education Act, ensuring every child had access to coding and critical thinking curricula. He also expanded space exploration, partnering with private companies to establish a lunar research base by 2060, a nod to his father's Space Force legacy. The future beckons. In his final State of the Union address in 2054, Barron reflected on his journey. "I came to this office not as a politician, but as a problem solver," he said. "Together, we've built a foundation for a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around." The speech, delivered with his characteristic calm, was interrupted by applause 17 times. As he left the podium, Barron glanced at Sophia and his children in the gallery. He was no longer just the youngest president, he was a leader who had grown into the role, proving that age was no barrier to impact. The Trump name, once divisive, now carried a new meaning, one of innovation, resilience, and hope. Whether Barron would run again in 2056 remained uncertain. For now, he was content to lead, to learn, and to leave a legacy that would outlast the headlines. In a world of uncertainty, Barron Trump, the youngest president, had shown that the future was not something